If I do research, I feel like
Stop me, 'cause I'm having a good time, having a good time. Shooting star leaping through the sky like a tiger, defying.
life can change in one moment. Imagine one day you find yourself trapped into your paralyzed and broken body. Imagine your intellectual capacity and your sensory proprioception fully working. Imagine you slowly realizing that you lost any opportunity to talk to your loved ones or to caress them again. So the focus of my research is to develop novel communication means for users or for people with motor disability. How I'm going to do this? By tapping into the brain. I'm a neural engineer and I design brain-computer interfaces. What is this guy talking about? Let me try to explain you. And let's start with the brain. The brain is a big interconnected network composed of special cells. And these cells are special because they can process and transmit information. And how? I'm going to show you based on pyramidal cells. So the pyramidal cells are found in the cortex, which is the outer layer of the brain. And the cells, the neurons, are surrounded by a membrane, which is this one here. And this membrane divides the inside of the cell from the outside environment. So just 1 second. Perfect. So this is the cell. And of course, remember, we have a pyramidal cell, so if you cut horizontally through a pyramid, you get a triangular shape, so which is this one. And the signal processing happens in here. Now, the input of the neuron is called dendrite. And there's not only one input, but there are many, many, many. And they branch up like trees. So now, while there are many, many, many inputs, there's only one output, which is this one here. And then this output again splits up at the end and connects to up to thousands of other neurons. And the interface between these neurons are called synapses. Now, information processing is implemented or realized with electrical currents. So ions, electrically charged particles, flow into the cell body via the dendrites. They fill it up, and when a certain level is reached, then the axon gate opens and the current flows along the axon. Now, this styrofoam tube here is the myelin shed, which is a fatty layer which surrounds the axon. And you can imagine what happens if you put a cable where electricity flows through in water, let's say. I mean, I guess, yeah, you can imagine what happens. And in humans, this is called multiple sclerosis. But let's go back to the current. So there are a lot of currents flowing to these neurons. Put this one here. And these neurons generate potential differences on the surface of the head and also on the surface of the body. And we can measure these potential differences by electrodes mounted in such fashionable caps, such as this one. And the name of the signal is electroencephalogram, or the EEG. Now, the brain consists of billions of neurons, and the contribution of individual neuron is very, very small to the whole signal. So how can we measure what an individual neuron is doing from the outside? We can't, yet. However, if we find a thought, so mental activity, that activates large group of neurons, then some activity of these neurons might change the EEG. And if we teach a computer on how to detect these changes in the EEG, then this computer can translate the changes into a message, yes, no message, either the thought is there or not, which then can be used for communication. So let me give you another example. Imagine you fly in a helicopter high above the Ernst-Happel Stadium here in Vienna city. Let's imagine there's a soccer game going on and there are 50,000 people in the stadium. Now, you sit in the helicopter, equipped with a microphone, and your task is to listen or to follow a conversation between two people. So, quite challenging, I guess. There's the noise of the stadium, the noise of the city itself, the noise of the helicopter, so quite difficult. However, if one of the teams scores a goal, then the fan, which are a large group of persons, start cheering and yelling and screaming at the same time. And you might be able to pick up this sound with the microphone. Or if you maybe change the orientation of the microphone and you know the seating arrangement in the stadium, then you might be even able to identify or to find out which team scored the goal. Hope this does make sense. But however, you have to attend many, many, many games in order to find a robust prediction from the microphone signal you get to a message. And let me tell you, flying a helicopter is quite expensive. However, if we succeed with this, then the brain-computer interface can translate a thought of a person into a simple yes-no message for communication. And slow communication is better than no communication in this case. So, in a nutshell, if I can summarize everything, my job, I see myself as a flying DJ that composes music, that motivates neurons to party in such a way that the computer on the outside, the developers are also developed by myself, listen or clearly hears what's going on the dance floor.
And we danced, and we cried, and
The
we
slide
laughed, and had a really, really, really good time. Take my hand, let's have a blast, and remember this moment for the rest of our lives.
Thank you very much. Just clean up.